what's up? Welcome back to the Big Show. My name is Mateo. I'll be drinking a beer. Well, we got a lot of stuff in store today, so let's get right into it. Today's beer, Blue Moon. Another fine autumn ale for us to try. This one is the Blue Moon Caramel Apple Spiced Ale. Look at that, right? Nice and light. Huh? Can't really see. Yes, it's nice and light. Tell you about the flavor of this. Guy. It's a really good dark beer. As for the caramel apple spice thing, beer includes fresh apple juice with cinnamon, nutmeg, caramel malts for a warming spice taste. And you know, it's pretty good. I mean, it has you can definitely taste the caramel in it. It's not overpowering. It's a nice little touch, but you know, it's got that kind of dark beer caramely taste to it. On top of that, you can get just a hint of that cinnamon that kind of makes it the appley thing. I don't really taste the apple in it, but it doesn't matter. This actually comes together to be a really nice beer. So I definitely advise that if you want to try it, give it a go. It's pretty awesome. You can get it in the Blue Moon Autumn Pack next week. In honor for Thanksgiving, Blue Moon Pumpkin Ale. That's right, finally a pumpkin ale we can give it a try and hopefully like. But that'll be next week. As for this week, so the first big story I want to talk about today kind of affects me in kind of a big way because it is my employer. And I just want to get the news out there so that everybody knows. It's about Applebee's. Apparently this guy named Zane Tinkle, who owns a franchise in New York, came out against Obamacare saying, well, looks like I'm going to have to make sure my workers don't work over 30 hours because then I'll have to give them Obamacare. Went on to say that because of Obamacare, he's going to have to not pay people as much and he's going to have to cut hours and all that kind of. Now, as, first of all, somebody who works in a franchise that actually likes their employees, I have, ever since I've worked for this Applebee's, had health care, and it has not been an issue. No one's even questioned it. I mean, again, we pay into it, so it's not that big a deal, but, you know, I've always had healthcare and dental, and, you know, I've even have life insurance because of them, so that's super sweet. So, should you decide to boycott, we've gotten many calls in our own franchise already today saying that because we're taking away hourly employee hours, that franchise doesn't have to give healthcare, that they're going to, not realizing that, of course, this wasn't the CEO of Applebee's, which has somehow been construed in the media, but it was just one guy who owns a franchise. So make sure if you're going to boycott your local Applebee's that you know why you're boycotting and whether or not the Applebee's that you are boycotting is because of the reason you wanted to boycott. And I could probably go into a lot more in this blog about healthcare and why that's a good thing for your employees to have it and them staying healthy, but then I would just get a lot of very vicious emails because there's no discourse anymore because everybody's so embedded and entrenched in their views that they don't even care what the other side is saying, you know? It's just a lot of name calling and, oh, because you're a liberal and have liberal ideas. Oh, liberals, you emotional hippies, looking for handouts to give all of the freeloaders who drain on our society. And then there's the other side. You know, the liberals who look at the Republicans and say, well, Republicans. I don't know why the liberals and the Republicans sound the same, but they do. Well, Republicans, you must be some kind of nihilist group of people who don't care about the people who work for you, who don't care whether or not they're sick or they're hungry or you care about their families. You're like Andrew Carnegie, just using the laborers as cogs in a machine. So that's the two sides of the issue. And that's where one side is looking at the other side. And there's no in-between and no thought process about what's good and what's bad and what's right for the people who work for you or the people you are working for. It's a vicious thing to put out there, any political view, because when you do, then the other side hates you for everything that you stand for and believe in. Even if somehow your other views all match up, it doesn't matter. That one thing will alienate you forever. There's no agreeing to disagree. So, as much as I have much more to say on the subject, I can't because of that. I won't because of that, because I had enough name-calling when I was in 5th grade. I hated grade school. Next thing I want to talk about is the new show, Revolution. It was one of those shows that when I started it, I was kind of like, I really didn't give a crap about the characters. I think that the main chick is kind of a whiny damsel in distress. That's not her fault as an actress, but it's definitely their fault as writers. They're constantly putting her in some kind of peril that she's got to be rescued. I thought that the uncle, who you know, is kind of a Billy badass, I don't really care about his conflicted good guy, bad guy, moral ambiguity thing. It's just not working for me. And plus, he's the actor from Twilight, and I don't really care. So the one character that I've really enjoyed watching this year is played by Giancarlo Esposito. He's Captain Tom Neville. He's the guy who stole Danny from his, you know, his sister Charlie and everything. His character development has been really interesting. I really like, I mean, he is a seriously mean, bad guy, and I really liked watching his character development on the show. And then the flashback episode where you saw how he got to where he was going, you know, how he was just a paper pusher who got fired the day of, and then, you know, what it kind of took to make him this really bad guy. That character development is really one of the things that I've loved. But for the most part, I don't like this show, and I think part of the reason, well, I mean, I like it. I keep watching it, so I don't know what that says. I mean, I am interested into why the lights went out and what they're going to do with the pendants, and then the introduction of Comfior and where his character is going to go. I mean, all of that is a lot more interesting to me than the show has been. However, the problem I think ultimately that I have with this show, even though I like the idea of what it's going to be like when the lights go out and how we sort of back to this like feudal society almost, but the one thing, there's another show that's already doing this and they're doing it so well, and it's called The Walking Dead. Yeah, that's got zombies and everything, but if you were to take out the zombies and put in the militia, it's almost the same show, and Walking Dead is still doing it so much better. So as much as I like the show, I have that to say about it. I'm going to keep watching to the end of the season. Hopefully they wrap up the story so I, A, don't have to come back next year, and B, if they decide to cancel it, then I'm not going to be missing anything. And I want to say this about American television. They could learn something from BBC, because a lot of times the BBC will come on and they'll just do these 7 or 10-part series, and then that's it. You'll never see them again. I mean, that's how The Office started, like 6 episodes, and then it became so popular and so huge, they're like, okay, another season of 6 to 10 episodes, and then they did it, and then they did their Christmas special, and I almost wish that a lot of times that some of the, especially the clever shows, would just end. Just go ahead and end. I mean, I never saw Lost. Don't worry, it's on my list of things. I'm gonna get to it. From what I've heard, that's one of those shows that it's like, oh, if you just would have ended it after like season 2, you would have been great and the series would have ended. You know, it's a funny question a lot of network execs have now. Is like, okay, I can see what you want to do with your show, but where's that going to be in season 3? And it's like, maybe that shouldn't be the question. Maybe it could be like, okay, we're going to do 2 really solid seasons of a really great show. 48 amazing episodes, which I know won't get you into syndication, it won't make you lots of money, and blah, blah, blah. It's almost worth it just for the quality of the show. I mean, in some ways, even though as short as Dollhouse was and as amazing as it could have been going a full 5 seasons, being able to compact what they wanted to do in 3 or 4 seasons into just the 2 kind of made it a really good show. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen the show go on, and I could watch Eliza Dushku all day long. We talked about that last week. But, you know, I mean, being able to just really streamline the story, there was something really nice about it. One other show, too, that I was thinking about in the last few years that would have been helped by just being a short was Flash Forward. I think it was an amazing concept, and once it reached the end of like, hey, you know, this is what caused the Flash Forward to happen, and this is the amazing consequences of it. The way that whole story was told, I thought was really interesting anyway. That, I think, would have been an amazing 1 season. Let's just do it, make it amazing, and be done with it. You know, those would have been perfect examples of shows that just would have, if you would have gone 1 series, or if you would have gone 10 episodes or 14 episodes and just cut it and been done. Now I'm glad they don't do that with Walking Dead, and I'm glad Mad Men has continued to, you know, live up to its amazing standards. Especially last season of Mad Men I thought was awesome. But it's sad that sometimes shows just can't go a season and then be done. All right, well, we are through yet another beer. A autumn beer at that. A Blue Moon Caramel Spiced Apple Ale. Delicious. Thanks for tuning in. Stop in next week for our big Thanksgiving episode where I'll be giving thanks for all the things that I give thankful for. So thanks. My name is Matteo. I just drank a beer.